And Diddy claimed that somebody held a knife to his throat. He woke up and this guy basically had him and he had the knife, and Diddy was at this person's mercy. Now, it's unclear what exactly happened from there. Was there a guard that came in? Did Diddy somehow fight this person off? Well, it seems unlikely that happened. Or did the person just leave? Bottom line, this guy, at least according to people close to Diddy and Diddy himself, could have hurt him badly or even taken his life.
It starts with disbelief and ends with accusation. Within a single weekend, Sean Diddy Combs' fragile story of survival behind bars has turned into a potential legal nightmare. His lawyers insist he was attacked by another inmate inside MDC Brooklyn. They even described a guard stepping in to stop the assault. But 50 Cent, never one to hold back, claims the entire incident was fabricated, a stunt designed to manipulate the system and sway a sympathetic judge. And that claim matters more than anyone first realized, because the same judge, Aaron Subramanian, has a reputation for punishing dishonesty as harshly as the original offense.
And that his apology was phony, and that there was some serious harm done to the victims of this case. Like you said, they wanted a sentence of at least 11 years. Ultimately, we know a sentence has now been shared with the court of 4 years behind bars for Sean Diddy.
We've seen this play out before. A public figure tries to appear broken, humbled, desperate for redemption. Diddy's team painted that image all through October, calling his confinement inhumane, begging for a transfer to a safer, low-security facility in New Jersey. But now, the story they built is collapsing. If 50 Cent's allegations prove true, Diddy's plea for mercy could be recast as an attempt to mislead a federal court. For a man already convicted and sentenced, that kind of deception is not a scandal. It's a potential sentence extender.
Diddy, obviously just starting out his time, well, not just starting out, but starting out his official sentence since being sentenced not too long ago. And I think suffice to say, it's not going well so far.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got 4 years and change that he's going to ultimately have to serve, although he has served already a year as he awaited his trial and then went through his trial. So,
according to Diddy's lawyers, the attack happened late one night in his dorm-style unit at MDC. They told the court a guard saved his life when a shiv-carrying inmate crept into his cell. Days later, longtime friend Charlucci Finney doubled down on the story, telling the Daily Mail that Diddy woke up with a knife pressed to his throat. He described the moment as seconds from disaster. The account spread quickly across tabloids and talk shows, shaping Diddy as a vulnerable celebrity lost in a violent federal maze. But 50 Cent saw something else on his Instagram feed. He called it fake, mocking Diddy for, in his words, snitching from the cell. Within hours, screenshots of the post flooded X and TikTok, forcing reporters to revisit whether any official documentation of an assault actually existed.
Talked to me about the schedule for the day. He explained the important rules. He explained count time, because they have to, look, the jail's main two things. They can't lose you and they can't kill you. So they have to, count you, and they count you twice a day. Actually, 3 times a day.
You go to your bunk?
Yeah, you go to your bunk. At night, they'll come. You can be laying down. And in the morning, you can be laying down. But once a day, twice a day.
So far, none has surfaced. Bureau of Prisons officials have not confirmed a single incident report matching that description. And that silence is fueling a new theory inside the courthouse that Diddy's lawyers embellished the story to strengthen their request for transfer to FCI Fort Dix, a facility known for its rehab programs and family-friendly visiting conditions. What makes this more dangerous is timing. Judge Subramanian still has authority over Diddy's sentence recommendations. He can endorse the transfer or block it with one signature. And if he believes the court was misled, sources close to the defense admit he could go further, citing obstruction or false representation during post-trial proceedings. To understand how precarious this has become, we have to trace the last few months. Diddy's conviction came in July 2025 after a 9-week trial that shocked even veteran court reporters. By October 3rd, he was formally sentenced to 50 months in federal custody and fined $500,000. At that hearing, Subramanian called his actions savage abuse and dismissed pleas that he had already suffered enough. Yet, he left a window open, saying Diddy could petition for a facility closer to family if he demonstrated truthful cooperation. That phrase now reads like foreshadowing.
In October, October 3rd. If the judge denies bail, then Trump is going to make a decision possibly immediately thereafter.
Most likely, the judge is going to, based on previous decisions, it feels like the judge is going to deny bail.
Then came the rumors of a presidential pardon. In early November, TMZ and other outlets reported that former President Trump had privately considered commuting Diddy's sentence after a personal appeal. Hours later, the White House flatly denied it. The fallout was brutal. Diddy looked desperate, out of allies, and publicly embarrassed. By mid-Mon, Finn's story about a knife attack began circulating, almost as if it were meant to restore sympathy. Within days, Diddy's attorney, Brian Steele, referenced it in filings, describing the prison as a threat to his client's safety. But insiders at the Bureau of Prisons say no guard matched the name provided by the defense, and no inmate was disciplined that week for assault.
They once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been down.
That gap in records is where 50 Cent stepped in. Behind the sarcasm and memes, he hinted that the attack was manufactured to delay Diddy's transfer review and generate emotional headlines before the appeal cut off. Coming from anyone else, it might sound like trolling, but 50 Cent's knowledge of Diddy's legal orbit runs deep. He's already producing a streaming documentary on the case, and his sources include former employees who testified at trial. When he calls the story fake, people listen, not because he's credible by default, but because the timing matches the internal delays that defense filings created. Meanwhile, Diddy's team continues to push the narrative of suffering. Letters from his attorneys describe MDC as overcrowded, unsanitary, and psychologically destructive. They argue that transferring him to Fort Dix would allow access to the residential substance program, a move that could shorten his release date by nearly a year. But that request relies on one key claim, that Diddy faces ongoing threats at MDC. If the assault never happened, that argument collapses instantly. According to one former federal prosecutor we spoke with, submitting false safety claims to the Bureau of Prisons is viewed as obstruction, and judges do not take it lightly. We can already sense tension inside Diddy's camp. Sources say his public relations advisor wanted to retract Finn's interview after 50 Cent's post, fearing the contradiction could reach the court record. Finney refused, telling reporters he stood by his words. The defense has since gone silent, neither confirming nor denying the authenticity of the incident. Even so, whispers inside the legal community suggest that prosecutors have started reviewing Diddy's correspondence from that period, looking for inconsistencies between his private communications and public statements.